What's up, softball players? I'm Coach Stan Blewett. In today's video, let's talk about how to prevent high overthrows that sail over your target player's head. All right, so if you're new here, I'm Coach Dan. I'm a former pro baseball pitcher and softball throwing expert. If you're a fast pitch player or slow pitch player, check out the links in the description below. I've got tons of new videos. I've also got online courses to walk you through step-by-step how to improve your throwing. So in today's video, let's talk about how to prevent those high overthrows where it sails. The first thing I want to talk about, number one, is the common throwing flaw in softball of having a low elbow, where you're here on release, where your elbow's below your shoulder line. This is a big reason, and it's very difficult. It's not something I can solve in this video. When you have a low elbow, your arm tends to accelerate downward. And so when it does this, the harder you throw, the more your arm gets beneath the ball as you accelerate it. So this problem compounds itself in the sense that the harder you try to throw it, the more the ball is going to go up because you're going to try to get it up at the top, at the very end. When you have improved throwing mechanics, you're going to get to tug yourself with your glove arm over top of the ball and drive it downhill. So that's my first tip here. This is the really important one that I tell everyone, is that when the throws are sailing on you, a lot of times you need to take this glove arm and you need to pull it a little bit harder. You need to crunch down, take this elbow to your hip pocket. And this is what's going to sort of cartwheel you over top of the ball. So instead of pushing through it and shoving it up, now you can get above it and drive it downhill. That's the big thing. Now, if you just threw a ball away from shortstop in a game, you're not going to be able to do that right then, right? You're not going to be able to make that adjustment. But when you're playing catch with your friends, that's the time to feel for these adjustments. When you're throwing and hitting on them in the head, and then sailing one, tell yourself, okay, I need to sort of like tug myself down a little bit harder with my front side, because that sort of cartwheels me above the ball. And then that's going to get me from here to here, where now I drive it downhill. So that's the big one. The number two tip for not making these overthrows that sail away are getting closed. So if you don't do a good job of getting your feet closed to your target, now you're accelerating early. Your arm doesn't have time to get into its proper position, go through its whole timing sequence, all that. And now because your body's ready to throw and your hips start to accelerate and your arm's not ready, it's going to be not in the right position, and it's going to usually chuck it a little bit high, or you're going to have to slow it down to be accurate. You don't want either of those things. So your footwork is critical. So once you vacuum up that ground ball, make sure you get your feet turned all the way so you're perpendicular. Then your glove arm goes out, and now you can get on top of it. But again, if you're lazy with your footwork and you're a little bit open with your chest, that means my chest is slightly towards my target instead of completely closed, turned away from my target. This is often what's going to make the ball sail. The last thing, and this is something I know no one wants to hear, is accuracy is a mind-body problem more than anything. You can have terrible mechanics and still hit your partner in the chest all the time. I've seen it over and over and over in baseball and softball. And the other thing to ask yourself is, well, how do these players make these crazy throws on the run and still hit their first baseman in the chest? Like, how do they do that? It's that mind-body connection where the more you throw and the more you experiment with throwing, you throw different ways, you throw going left, going right, the more you have a really rigorous throwing routine and you practice lots of different techniques, you just become a good thrower in general. So those are really important. That's a really important aspect of it, where a lot of players who have accuracy problems, they just don't throw enough, or they don't have this really deep focus where they're focused on how did my body feel when I threw it away or when I didn't. So hopefully this was helpful. Obviously, overthrows are a big problem in softball. So if this is a issue that you have, make sure you tinker with some of these tips in your pregame routine and do it in between innings. So when you're warming up, you're taking ground balls or you're taking fly balls, work on your front side, work on your footwork, do those things in your game if you have time between innings to do that as well. All right. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to check out the links in the description below, where you'll find my online courses, other videos, all that good stuff. And I'll see you here in the next softball video.